we're going to use a program called BigMind. BigMind was created by a Zen master, Genpo Roshi, to mix the best of Western psychotherapy and Zen pointing out meditation to give people the experience of enlightenment in 2.5 hours. We are not doing that part. I am not making any promises for that. That's not even interesting for me to do. But having studied this practice a few times, actually about a year ago, last year, I had a revelation as I was going through BigMind that there was a particular segment of this work that really played well with allyship. And then it got me on this crazy journey where I wanted to share that with people because allyship is an important skill set. Allyship, there's many definitions as I've been figuring out while I'm writing this book, but one of them is the ability to transfer well-being from one person to the other. That definition alone will probably break down why it's difficult for people to be effective allies, because most people don't have the well-being to transfer. So there is an important aspect of learning to be an ally to yourself, finding out what makes you tick, what's going on, what are your held beliefs, and then using those parts of you on purpose to help specific people. So today, specifically, we're going to focus on the self. We're going to take a journey to the center of the self, to our warm, gooey center where all, in my opinion, effective allyship comes from. But we're going to need to get the ego's permission. The ego doesn't really like allyship. The ego really is selfish, and in a reasonable way. Ego's job is to help us survive. So it's like, no, helping other people, I want to help me first. I might help other people if I know it's going to come back to helping me, but I will do no more than that. That's the other big bottleneck to effective allyship, is that even when we consciously want to be helpful, effective people, we always have this self-serving ego. Turns out, Genpo Roshi figured this out when he learned it from his teachers, Hal and Sidra Stone, in voice dialogue. The ego is actually, especially in the West, kind of polite. Like we are a service-based culture in the West. We just have to be asked the right way. So we will help people if it makes sense. We love to be of service, but a lot of times we're getting blamed, shamed, guilted into it, and so then we get like very resistant to it. So what we're gonna do today is hopefully very politely ask parts of your ego to sort of step aside so that we can talk. This isn't the name of the voice, but it is kind of like your inner Karen, the one who's actually in charge, the one who's actually doing the thing, and then reorganizing your inner system so that you're actually set up to be an effective ally. The beautiful thing about doing a process like this is that once you go through it, you'll be able to see, or at least be slightly more attuned to the ways in which other people have these egoic parts that are stopping them, not just from being allies, but from receiving allyship. Most of the time when you're like, I'm trying to be helpful and people aren't receiving my help, it's usually because one of these parts that we're going to talk to is in the way. Most people don't know this, and so they usually just get mad or in weird coercive tug of war batches to try and help people, which never feels good. So hopefully in experiencing receiving effective allyship from me and seeing your own parts, you'll be able to, one, be an effective ally to yourself as you go out to try to help people. Two, you'll have compassion for the parts of people that are resistant to receiving allyship from folk. And three, just generally, hopefully having a good time and freeing up the energy that a lot of these parts kind of take covertly. That's probably the biggest benefit, is that right now, even though it seems simple, easy to be a human, there's a lot of complexity going on in there. And to maintain the illusion of coherence, it's actually a very psychologically expensive thing to do. Giving ourselves permission to be all our full selves gives us extra energy that we could then use to be effective allies.